John,
we'll do that tomorrow. What?
John, we've got a problem.
What's that?
Our sales page isn't converting.
I know. Yeah, this is really important. There's several things here. First, it's full transparency. We're not pretending to be the big I ams here. But also, we've got this. Here's how it goes for the listener, right? You're listening, listeners? Good. And watching watchers. We've got a sales page, which at one point was converting at about 47%. Now, it's fucking phenomenal. We've just now hooked it up and we're getting some live traffic to it from a different source. Facebook for 45 pence a click, which is ridiculously cheap.
It's actually more like 30 pence a click. It's 45p per landing page view.
Oh, okay,
right. So
45 pence to get someone to view the page. And I don't think we've had a single sale from it. And we've had hundreds of people look at it by now. Oh, we've had one, have we?
I think we've had one.
Okay, we've had one sale. And we've had literally hundreds of people look at this page. And here's the thing, you see, it's not the page per se, because it was converting at a phenomenal rate before. What it is, there's obviously some kind of discrepancy or disconnection, cognitive dissonance between the ad, which says not because it's similar copy, and then it's also an ad that's worked very successfully before, and the landing page. This just goes to show you people how complex this can be, because there's various things in play here. There's audience selection, there's the ad, there's then the sales page, and then there's the whole media. Now, coming from Facebook, they might be in a kind of different mindset, and they're also mostly on mobiles. 95% of the traffic is on mobiles, and all these things together conflate to make your sale or break your sale. And right now, our funnel is broken. We need to fix the landing page. Now, a landing page which is highly effective in some circumstances. So I want you people to understand, this stuff is not complicated, but it's not trivial. And if you're trying to figure it out yourself without referring to experts like us, who still we're not struggling with it, but who still have to work at these things, you're an idiot. I mean, you might be a copywriter and think, I write a sales page and they're great, but how good are you? I mean, I'm a fucking world-class A-list copywriter, and my sales page right now is fucking bombing to the wrong kind of traffic. And whether it's audience selection, so it's Connor's fault, or something else, we just don't know. So we've got some pretty good ideas, and we're going to fix it in the next few days, and we will fix it. I mean, it's just a.
Why don't you? I've got to step back for 20 seconds. Can you please tell them about? You said something that was really interesting yesterday. You went, well, it's not fucking working, so let's not dick about. Let's make some radical changes, because there's no point making tweaks. And that was really interesting. Yeah.
Here's the thing. If you've got a sales page or a sales process or a landing page or a posting strategy or anything really like this, and it's not working. I mean, when I say not working, I don't mean it's not working very well. It just isn't working. We've had one fucking sale of a £5 book in hundreds of views. All right. There's no point in nibbling around the edges. There's no point in me going and just slightly changing the copy, for instance. Okay, we did a couple of simple things. I put a video up, which is more in keeping with the ad they're coming from. That may or may not have worked. A bit early to say yet. But if something just isn't working, there's no point in tweaking it and polishing a turd. You want to do something radically different. So our next plan, which won't be today because I'm busy training nearly all day and talking to people, but tomorrow will be to create a radically different sales page, which will be a video and the order form, pretty much. And if that doesn't work, we've got some ideas after that as well. But it will be a totally different thing. Now, there's no point in me looking at the copy and going, well, I could polish that paragraph here and maybe switch these around. It won't make any difference. Changing the headline won't make any difference. I know that. I mean, I'm experienced in this. So here's a lesson for you. If something isn't working, so LinkedIn strategy, TikTok strategy, Facebook strategy, an ad, whatever, do something radically different. Don't just try and nibble around the edges. It won't change it. It won't help much. Polishing is when you've got something converting at, say, 5%, you want to get it to 6%. That's when it's worth polishing. But when it's converting at effectively 0%, polishing ain't, you can't, there's no point in polishing a turd.
What's the 1% increase of 0, John?
Exactly.
0 for our.
Well, that's a really important lesson. It might sound actually quite trivial, and it probably sounds very scary, but it's neither. But it shouldn't be either. It shouldn't be scary. It should be actually liberating.
It should be. but should and reality are often very different.
Oh, don't fucking talk to me about people refusing to see reality. Saw yesterday.
Yeah, what did you see?
I saw yesterday, and we were quickly chatting about this before we came on air. I logged into LinkedIn yesterday to check my messages, as I sometimes do, and I saw a post by some bloke from Leicester, funnily enough, his mum owns a cafe in Leicester. I presume he's from there. And that's my hometown, so it kind of leapt out at me when I saw the word. Well, she's got this little cafe, and an energy bill, I think it's quadrupled from something like 63,000 a year to 200 nearly. So it's ridiculous. Well, it's a phenomenal increase. And he was saying that she won't have to close the cafe because she can't sustain it at that level. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. I mean, if you need to make more money, you increase your fucking prices. Funny enough, that's what I'm going to be talking about this afternoon. The time you hear this, it'll be too late, but you can probably get the recording. Anyway, but what was most disappointing, and I shouldn't have been disappointed because I should be used to it by now, was the fucking whining in the comments. People basically coming and saying, yes, my aunt is the same, or my business is the same, or we've seen the same in our local chip shop and stuff. And everyone, not a single person, not one and I didn't bother commenting. I don't do this. I don't comment really. I mean, I almost never comment on LinkedIn now.
It's pointless.
But not a single person, not fucking one, in probably 30 or 40 comments, and that it would have increased. It was getting traction. Not one solitary fucking individual offered any kind of solution, such as, well, have you thought about raising your game, cutting energy costs somehow? I don't know. I don't run a cafe. I do know you could sell things at a higher price and people will still pay. And any money they add on, if they add another 10p onto a cup of coffee, that's straight onto the bottom line.
Yeah.
I don't know how many cups of coffee they sell, but that's straight onto the bottom line. And even 10p on a cup of coffee may actually go to increase their profits by 4 times, which may help them pay their 4 times price. And they haven't got to quadruple their prices. They just maybe need to quadruple their fucking profit. Anyway, not a single person offered a solution. It was all complaining. Things like the government should do something. The government should regulate the market. Well, what exactly specifically do they want the government to do? Because I'll tell you what the government will do. They'll say the government should do something. The government will think of some fucking harebrained scheme to keep these people quiet and, this is something, let's do that, whether it's effective or not. And if you want to know how well government deals with business, just look at the fucking digital VAT regime. Now, that was not designed by a business owner. That was doing something to solve a problem, I'm sure. Yeah. Now, this fucking price increase is caused by 2 things for the most part. 1, the global recession on the back of COVID, and 2, the energy crisis, war in Ukraine. What do they want the government to do? Regulate the economy. Regulation doesn't work. North Korea, Cuba, China that was, Soviet Union, a lot of people can't even remember the fall of the Berlin Wall these days. They are the result of planned economies. Hello, mathematics tells us regulation of complex adaptive systems, of which the economy is one, does not fucking work. It's like whack-a-mole. Fucking does my head in. Anyway, what were you going to say?
There's a few things to unpack there. One is, it's incredibly sad that a cafe might have to shut. Incredibly sad. But I'd love to see people having the same level of remorse for a firm of lawyers, probably less energy intensive, but they wouldn't give the same care and attention to
with
something
more people
like that.
dependent on the income.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course I want.
So it's terribly sad that Patty's Cafe or whatever it is likely going to shut down. The second thing is, for all we know, John, they might have a master plan to pivot into high end and coffee and everything, but they're just virtue signaling for social media, aren't they?
Oh yeah, both that could all be true. Yeah, of course it could. I suspect it's not.
I highly suspect it isn't.
What people will say is, I want to run a little cafe and offer great food at really affordable prices.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the choice. Then the consequence is you go out of business because you can't afford the energy bill.
And here's another thing. I imagine more than say the average industry, people say cafes are commoditized, especially baking goods. My girlfriend Tamsin recently went to Bristol, and she went to She's my partner, my girlfriend, whatever you want to fucking call her. It depends who my audience is. She went to Bristol. Yeah, and she went into this artisanal fucking everything's grown, salt of the earth sort of cafe, and she bought 4 cookies, and she brought 2 of them back. I was like, you fucking, and then obviously, we had to share them. So I was like, you've had fucking 3 cookies and I've had 1. Well, like, what's this?
No wonder you got a fat ass.
Yeah, but a fat ass is a good thing nowadays.
Oh no.
Yeah, well, it's a good thing nowadays.
I don't want it to be like a little boy's, you know.
Yeah, I know, but because
I'll go to get a little boy, you know.
But the word fat has evolved. If it begins with a PH, it's a good thing. So if you say to a girl, now you've got a fat ass, they go, thank you. Anyway. So I was immediately pissed off because I was like, you've had fucking 3 cookies and you're telling me you're trying to lose weight and I'm trying to put on weight and you're the one having 3 cookies. Anyway, how much do you think she paid for these 4 cookies? 4 cookies.
£8?
No.
12?
More.
16?
More.
20?
Yeah.
£5 a cookie?
Yeah, and the place had a queue.
Of course it did.
And guess what? Everyone was getting their cookies, and because they're there and they're queued up, guess what they're buying? Coffee. I can guarantee you that coffee is the cheapest coffee going. And not only are they making massive margins on the really good high quality cookies, they're making massive margins on the coffee. They're selling £4 of coffee, guarantee it cost them 20 pence to make. Price increase, it cost them 80 pence.
One of the guys in my old elite group was a guy who he did two things. Well, he basically supplied coffee machines and coffee and the paraphernalia to coffee shops because opening a coffee shop is a big thing. Apparently, he's just fucking mad. And the money, and he used to roast his own coffee as well. So he had it wasn't commoditized. It was his brand coffee. I can't really he called it now. Was it Flying Baron, Red Baron, or something? Anyway, the markup was phenomenal. You know, it was maybe coffee, for sake of argument, it was like £1 a kilo. And by the time they've sold it, it's selling at like £100 a kilo once it's broken down, roasted, and fucking put into a cup with some milk and shit. The margins are just ridiculous. And people don't care. I've got no idea how much a cup of coffee costs. So if I went into a random coffee shop and it was £1, I'd pay it. If it was probably £5, I'd also pay it. I just got no idea what it should be. Now, if it was £10, I might start thinking, this is ridiculous. A cup of coffee can't be £10. What's going on here? But even so, if it was £6 or £7, probably, I don't know. I don't know how much is a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I don't know. Scale, £1 is a no-brainer. In fact, you probably might not pay it because it's a bit too cheap.
Too cheap. You know, it's cheap and nasty.
Yeah, anything up to £5, I think you just pay it without thinking. I think I think that 6 to 8, you're thinking.
Well, it would make me question why this is so much. But
then at £10, you probably stomping your feet and going, I need you to tell me why I'm paying £10 for this coffee.
So I went into a coffee shop in, for the sake of argument, Leicester. All right? And the coffee was £7. I'm not going to object to the point where I'm going to go and find another cheaper coffee shop. I might keep my eyes open and say, is that what people pay for coffee around here? I'll have it now, but I might go somewhere else next time. I'm not going to walk out the door and say too much. If it's £10, maybe. I don't mind paying a premium, but I'm not going to be ripped off. But, £10 for a cup of coffee? Surely they've got to be somewhere cheaper than that. £20 for me and the wife? No.
Yeah.
Let's go somewhere else. But if it was like £8, £7, I probably just wouldn't care.
So you know I'm into my coffee, like I grind it myself and pour it slowly and extract it. There's and you know how there's now, they call them tap houses instead of a pub, and it's all again like hand brewed craft.
Oh yeah, microbrewery shit.
Yeah, and it's like they've got a very farm shop feel to them, almost those tap houses with the way the boards lined up.
Oh, pretentious bollocks.
And like the sauce and the hot percentages. They have now started doing the same with coffee in London. And there is this place in London where it's like a menu of coffee and they treat it like a wine menu or now a beer menu, but closer to a wine menu. And, it's got the origin there. It's got the notes, etc., a percentage of caffeine, exactly like a wine menu.
And you pay a premium.
not only do you pay a premium, but because it's exactly like a wine menu, and the cheap bottle of wine is 20 quid, and then every restaurant has a bottle of wine that's 200 quid. These London cafes now have coffees that are the cheapest you can get are 6 quid for a coffee, and they have coffees that are for 1 cup. I think you're paying, I think it was £95 I last saw.
And so
it's an experience, artisanal coffee.
Who put the anal in artisanal? That's what I want to know. Because there is, I mean, guys, you can Google this. I'm not making this up. The most expensive coffee in the world, I believe, is made from beans which have passed through a civet cat. And yes, it means exactly what I've just said. The civet cat eats the berries, the beans come out the back,
and then
some poor fucker's job is to walk around the countryside picking up this fucking civet shit and getting the coffee beans out of it. Google it. Don't take my word for it. But it's something like, I'm going back several years now, it was like 50, 60 quid a cup. It'd be more now because of inflation and people are just fucking piling on the premium. But there are people out there who will pay 60, 95 pounds for a cup of coffee. I am not one of them, to be fair. I might do it just to experience at some point, just to see what it's like. But get to the really high end of things, and you're actually going for other people, not yourself. You're doing it to impress. Maybe even to impress the fucking waitress. I'm not into that.
No.
But certainly I'd give it a go once. But regardless, there are people out there who will pay 600 quid for a steak, who will pay 100 quid for a cup of coffee, who will pay £50 for a bag of 5 crisps. You can get those too. They'll pay 25k for a set of, you heard that right, by the £25,000 for a set of stereo leads and things like that. Now, there are people out there who will pay this. They just are. And there's enough of them that these things are things. They're not just one-offs. People will pay £250,000 for a fucking handbag. It's a handbag. Fucking does my nut in. So, anyone can do this. So that coffee shop in Leicester, and I thought I could post on this post, but there's no point.
No, there's no point.
These are the people who should be paying us 25k consulting for a week or something. Because we could go into that coffee shop and we'd be cheap. We'd be less than half of her yearly energy bill at the moment. And we'd make her enough money to pay the 200k. Because we would say to her, look, you need 100 quid a cup of coffee here. You need to increase your prices. You need to not start selling, stop selling affordable coffee for your average person in the street. Because your average person in the street is going to fucking walk away, go somewhere cheaper, and watch you go bust and won't care. They'll say it's sad, but they won't care.
Yeah,
I don't care, really. I mean, it's sad, but I still don't care much.
The only person that really cares is anyone who's going to be affected by it. And even then, the employees, they might care for 5 minutes, but they'll just fuck off elsewhere. It's a sad state of affairs. And you just mentioned something very interesting that I want to highlight. You said that little cafe needs something like £100 cup of coffee. And there will be people that listen to that and go, John, there's a recession coming. They're spending so much money on energy bills. How's anyone going to pay for anything? There's a recession. The only way to fight it is by going low end and going cheap, and to make up the profit by going mass.
No, absolutely fucking
The time to go high end is in a fucking recession. It is.
Without doubt.
It's
what people don't understand, and I'll be talking about that this afternoon. I've got the pretty graphs and everything. What people don't understand is, you imagine, and I actually use this example because it's about right. You got a widget you sell, no matter what it is, and it costs you £100 to provide it. So it could be a product, could be a service, doesn't matter. And you said it's 135, so they're making 35 groats, £35, $35, doesn't matter. Okay, that's your markup. If you increase your prices by 10%, your profit increases by 38 point something percent. And here's the thing, what people really don't get. Your profits increase at 4 times, just under 4 times the rate of your price increase. So if you increase your prices by just 50%, which sounds a lot, but it's not really, your profit quadruples. 196%, so it more or less quadruples. So you can 4 times your profits by increasing your prices by 50%. So imagine you're selling a £3 cup of coffee and your markup's 35%, and you increase that to £4.50. You lose some business, but not a lot. People who pay £3 for a cup of coffee will also pay £4 for a cup of coffee. Your profits will quadruple. Fuck your energy bill. You've just paid it. But people won't do it because they're stupid. They won't listen. This is one of those times, and this really fucking acquires my fucking ruminant. This gets my goat. People go on feelings, and they criticise me all the time for having, you've just got no feelings. Well, it's not strictly true, but yeah, it's close enough for me to say, okay, I'll take that one. I'll take that as being read. I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day, again, chucking in my messages. Some woman who was complaining that when people talk about money, they get loads of engagement and profits and success, and they talk about they get loads of engagement. When I talk about my feelings, no one cares. Really? And you think that's a bad thing? Feelings are great. I mean, they evolved for a reason. Emotions. They're nature's shortcut to logical thought. But the thing is that they're what are called a fail-safe, meaning you'll get false positives. What you think is a tiger in a bush actually isn't a tiger in a bush. But it doesn't harm you to think it is. Yeah. So our feelings make us shy away from perceived danger, which means we are by definition not being rational. So when we look at things like, I can't put the price up because people will shy away from it. Well, that's the false positive. They won't because you don't understand the maths behind it. If you look into it logically, your feelings are deceiving you. It's a price rise, can't do that. Look at it sensibly, you think, actually, people won't stop fucking buying and I'll be making 4 times the profit. But it's counterintuitive. It goes against our emotions. And people are not prepared to do that. All that things. What might my competitors, other coffee shops think? Coffee's £3.50 in Leicester. That's all you can charge. Says who? Well, that's what everyone charges, so it must be right. No, you stupid cunt. Put your £3 cup of coffee up to £4.50. Quadruple your profits. You can lose. You can lose so much of your business. I've got that graph too. You can lose so much of your business if you do that. It's just, I mean, on a 10% increase, right? On a 35% markup, you can afford to lose 30% of your traffic or your sales, beg your pardon, by volume, and still make the same amount of profit. So 30%, you could close, say your cafe's open 6 days a week. You could basically close it for 2 days a week, save on your energy bill. All right. Open for 4 days instead of 6 and still make the same amount of money. That's even without putting your price, by putting your prices up, losing 30% of your business, you could still do it. But you won't. And if you stay open for those 6 days, you won't lose 30% of your business. It just fucking does my head in, man. These people are so stupid.
Are those numbers taken into consideration the savings they'd make by...
No. Of course not. So it's even better. Mine's a conservative estimate.
Yours is conservative. So
yeah, you close for 2 days, so you save on staff costs, you save on energy bills and everything else, and you still make the same amount of money over those 3 days. Just by putting the prices up.
The true scenario, real world scenario, is likely even better than the one you just painted.
I guarantee it. I would put money on it because you probably wouldn't close for those 2 days anyway. You could if you wanted to, but you wouldn't. So if you're open for 6 days still, you won't lose 30% of your business. You'll probably lose a couple of percent. And you might lose the odd person who comes in for a cup of coffee and I don't know, they don't have much money and they will go somewhere else. Fine. And if you want to do something for those people, do what Starbucks do and Costa and have this thing where people can pay a coffee forward.
Yeah.
Or for every 5 cups of coffee or something that you actually sell at full price, have a voucher you stick on the board for someone who's poor, either a homeless person or maybe a single mother. Or something. It doesn't matter. If you want to do pro bono work, fine, but do it strategically, not tactically.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to do it. Like there are some places, like pizza houses, they make so much fucking money. Some of these pizza places, they feed homeless people because it costs them fuck all. Because they're not giving away 10 quid when they give away a pizza to a homeless person. They're giving away the cost of the raw material, which is probably a couple of quid. Or the people can pay. It's buy one, give one to a homeless person at cost. So it's this business of we will lose loads of money and what about poor people? It's just a non-argument. It really is pathetic.
John, we've got to cut our prices in a recession. We're all got to be pulled together.
I remember speaking to a lady, right, years ago, and I did free calls. She was a graphic designer, and she was struggling, and she was a teacher, and you know how hard work it is being a teacher because of talent. Mm-hmm. And she wanted her kind of raison d'etre as a graphic designer was, and she was an art teacher. She said, I want to make high quality graphic design affordable for everyone. And I just laughed and said, that ain't going to happen, love. It just isn't. And she didn't come on board with me. And the last I heard from her was she's gone back to teaching. And I said to her, this you'll end up going back to teaching. This won't work. And here's why it won't work. And it doesn't. So she's actually let people down, because people who would be prepared to pay, maybe not premium, but maybe just a modest amount more than average. Yeah. People who'd be prepared to pay her worth, they are now not able to get her services. So she's actually let them down. She's not serving the very people she wanted to serve, because she went for the people who could and would pay the least. You know, it's tragic, really.
It's really tragic. It's very tragic. I'd like to think no one does this, but it baffles me that anyone, well, she obviously did this, but if you enter a new field or offer a service to a target market, I don't know why you wouldn't want to strive to be the very best you could be at it, and therefore to charge the absolute most you could for that said thing.
I agree, but they've got this they've got this mental block, haven't they? I mean, people do it. People say, I mean, I had a woman sit in my office back in England, so it's at least 15 years ago. She was a life coach, and she just started. She just paid, and this is 15 years ago at least, so she just paid $3,000 for branding and a website, which she couldn't afford because she had no clients at all, not even had one in the past. She just qualified. And I says, well, what are your prices? I says, let me guess, and let me pretend to read your mind and say, I bet your prices. You looked at what everyone else is charging and put yourself near the middle. And she kind of looked shamefaced and said, actually, I put it near the bottom. I said, why? Oh, because I'm new to this. I said, can you do the job? She said, yeah, of course I can. So I says, why aren't you charging as much as anyone else then? Because if you can do the job to whatever job you're promising, whatever result you're promising, if you can do that to an acceptable standard, then you should charge the same as anyone else, whether it's fucking celebrity life coach or anything else. If you can't do the job, you shouldn't be selling it. It's like me saying, you can only pay me $1,000 for a sales letter. It won't work, but it's cheaper than a $10,000 one. But it won't make any money either. It's like, mind you, I shouldn't be saying that on my fucking sales letters bombs, should I?
I'll tell you what a good example. To go get your nails done, I think is like 30 quid nowadays. But instead, you can go to John and get it done for $5. How about that?
Yeah. Can you imagine? I mean, just for those who don't know, me being Asperger's means I'm also got low manual dexterity. If you let me near your fingers with a set of nail clippers, there's a good chance I'm going to blind you or something.
Yeah, you don't want to see the state of John's
I'm so fucking clumsy, it's unbelievable.
You've lost a few inches off the old fingers, haven't you?
Yeah, I'm a cock. It's only a foot long now.
That's old age, isn't it? Everything shrinks as you get older.
Well, they say that, but I haven't noticed my sex drive diminishing much at all.
Yeah, but we know why that is.
Because of my fucking addiction to kiddie porn.
Yes, exactly.
I thought so.
Obviously, what else would it be? It's the tea.
Well, they say that, but I have a friend who's the same age as me, funnily enough, and he's taken all sorts of different steroids. One in particular, it was, what's it called? Not Winstrol. I can't think of it now. But it's supposed to be really fucking powerful on the sex drive. My mate never felt a thing.
And he's your age?
Yeah, and I suspect it might be his alexithymia, you see.
Oh, perhaps.
It's like
and people say about drive before.
Yeah, it just didn't feel any different. I can't know what it was bloody called now. It wasn't Winstrol, maybe.
What does it begin with?
That's what I'm thinking now. It wasn't Nandrolone.
Names of anabolic steroids?
Yeah, it's really fucking...
Mesterolone.
No.
Methandienone.
No. Methandrone, no.
Dianabol.
No. That's an old one.
Mibelarone.
Oh, Trenbolone. The only bit reminded me.
Oh, Tren.
Tren.
Big Tren.
But I also think, because it's things like people say if you eat vegetarian or if you work out or you sleep well or you drink lots of water, you get this sense of well-being. Same with meditation and journaling. I don't feel any of those things. Now, I don't believe I don't have the effects of them because it wouldn't make any sense. Objectively, I should have those physiological and mental responses, but I just don't feel them, so I don't feel the emotion the same way, which is quite frustrating because you think you get to all this effort to fucking drink loads of water, and the only feeling I get is I feel bladder. You know?
You must notice increased energy levels just by the mere measure of output.
Not really.
Fair enough.
Not really.
I want to go on steroids, but I'm not going to. This working out malarkey's hard work.
What steroids are you gonna go on?
I'm not going to, but I want to, but I'm not going to.
If you were, what would you do?
I have no idea. I'd pay someone far smarter than me to sort it all out.
I know a man who can help.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. I don't know. Why? I don't need it. Shit, I'm fucking 25. Surely my test level should be fucking good enough.
Don't know. Maybe they're not. I don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. But then it's like the idea of just a 3-month cycle, just to cheat a little bit.
Stop it. I don't get that. It's cheating. Who said it's cheating? Who's made the rules here? I feel if you're going in for competition, if you're going in for competition and the rules of the competition say no steroids, that would be cheating. But this is real life we're talking about. There is no such thing as cheating. It's like saying I increased my profits by raising my prices. Oh, that's cheating. Didn't involve hard work. That's cheating.
I suppose for me it's
ridiculous.
It's a shortcut, and a shortcut feels a little bit like cheating.
It's not a shortcut. It's wearing glasses cheating.
Technically, because natural selection should just be wiping us out.
Natural selection? Oh, for fuck's sake. So you don't get vaccinated either then? He's been vaccinated cheating.
Technically, yeah. We should all just... having housing and...
You remind me of fucking Holly's ex-boyfriend, and he was really fucking thick.
No, I'm just saying.
He was stupid. My dog's stupid, but Ryan, fucking hell.
First
time I met him, I thought either this guy is suffering from acute brain damage or the new vacuum cleaners arrived.
If we have a completely level playing field and there was no making up for people's shortcomings.
No, this just making it. But what about people who are naturally born with advantages? You know, it doesn't make any sense at all. I'm not going to use a stepladder to get the porn off the top shelf because I'm short and that's cheating.
Yeah, you don't deserve the porn. Natural selection is told
no, I definitely deserve the top shelf porn. A man of my age definitely deserves porn.
No, a man of your height, they strategically put the midget porn on the bottom shelf for people like you. For the people that are taller and like girls with long legs and deserve girls with long legs, well, we get that from the top shelf. You stick to the fucking midget porn at the bottom shelf.
But because you won't take the steroids, you've got no muscles and you're fat and no sex drive, so you're no good to them when you got them. These fucking birds. That's why you know why Tamsin likes you, don't you? Because she doesn't have to fuck you. Because you've got no sex drive.
Sex drive? What are you on about?
That's why you want to take testosterone. No one of 25 would want to take testosterone unless they had a low sex drive. You just fucking outed yourself, mate.
Really? Is that a thing?
I don't know. Anyway, I've got work to do. I ain't got fucking time to sit and talk to you lot.
Oh, God, yeah, we're chatting shit now. We've gone for half an hour. John,
yes, mate.
Tell them what they need to do.
Look, if you want to get away from this fucking stupidity of low prices and all the other bullshit you see online and elsewhere, and this fucking sense of despair that we see around us in this recession and the fuel crisis and all the rest of it, do yourself a fucking favour. Get the book, Well-Fed Freelancer. WellFedFreelancer.com. It's £5 plus a shitload of bonuses. If you don't like it, I'll buy you that fucking free homeless person pizza and give you twice your money back. I mean, it's a no fucking brainer. You've got to be seriously stupid not to take us up on this. So WellFedFreelancer.com. And then, what else can you do? About it, really. Yeah. And if you already got the book, join the fucking inner circle. Again, it's 50 fucking quid. 2 months, don't like it, money back twice. And that fucking homeless person's pizza. And it's not chewed or anything. It's a fresh pizza. It's not like secondhand.
It's a proper pizza.
Can you imagine stealing a pizza from a homeless person's fucking pit? What? Your pizza.
Great.
Oh, man. I have that sweet corn on there. Anyway.
Oh, I fucking hope it isn't sweet corn. Sweet corn just makes me think of someone who's had a shit.
I love sweet corn. It's great. It comes out the other end intact. But like
I love
coffee beans.
sweet corn.
Maybe there's a market for that. Premium sweet corn, been through an autistic person's body. I don't know. If they do it for coffee beans, why not sweet corn?
And on that note, thank you for listening. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
And I shall speak to you at 12.